Hello, friends, and welcome back to Scaling Stories. Today, I've got some more highly upvoted posts from Best of Redditor Updates Reel. Like always, I'll be reading you the posts and giving you my opinions, and I'll also be working on building up my Minecraft world at the same time, so I hope you enjoy. Also, I'm currently only in Spotify's creator program, so watching on there would help me out a ton. Thank you so much for your support. Today's first story comes from the Relationship Advice subreddit. It was posted by Elado on December 28th, 2019, and was titled, I, 23 male, gained 70 pounds and ruined my relationship. Is it okay to ask my girlfriend, 23 female, to stop making mean comments about it? Title is wrong. My age is actually 24. I just want to start by saying I don't blame her at all. She's a great girl, and I pushed our relationship to breaking point by gaining so much weight that I am no longer attractive. It's all entirely my fault, so I'm not angry with her. It's just that the frequency and increasing nastiness of her comments are starting to get to me a little. Maybe I don't have a right to feel this way. I don't know. I gained almost 70 pounds in our 2-year relationship, mostly due to depression, drinking, and letting up on my previous strict diet. When we started dating, I was fit but a bit chunky at 190 pounds at 5 feet 11. I had just lost about 40 pounds. I gained that back, plus about 25 pounds more, during our relationship, and I got to 258 pounds at 5 feet 11 at my biggest. I have now lost 7 pounds on a diet. I'm disgusting. I can't even look at myself. She brought it up after I gained about 20 pounds, and then the comments got more frequent, and now she probably makes 3+ comments/insults a day about my weight. Here are some example things she has done or said. I know these may seem bad, but I'm not trying to demonize her. She is great otherwise. She refers to me as her morbidly obese boyfriend to her friends and anyone else behind my back. I am morbidly obese, I think, so she's not wrong, but it's very embarrassing. I guess I deserve it though. We had an argument, rare, where she called me a disgusting fat pig and said she was counting down the days until I died of obesity. She apologized for that one, and we had a good talk what? She apologized for that one, and we had a good talk about things after, but she soon went back to the comments. She buys me clothes that are too small. She says it's not on purpose, but I think it is, and then says something like, wow, I can't believe you've grown out of that already. One time, she made me come with her to the shop to return a pair of jeans and swap them for a bigger size. She made a massive fuss about it with the employees and basically just humiliated me in front of everyone in the store. She said she would only have sex with me if I lost at least 70 pounds. She says she can't help but find fat extremely unattractive. I do understand that, and it's okay to have preferences. I'm doing my best to reach that goal, and I want to lose even more than that. She calls me greedy and says I have no self-control. She isn't wrong, but she will make me food. Then, if I eat it all, say that I have no self-control. ? I never eat the full amount anymore, so I guess that tactic worked. If she makes me food, I'll only eat like a quarter of it, so she doesn't say anything. I get anxiety whenever I eat in front of people now. I get like sweaty palms and think everyone is looking at me. I went out for Christmas dinner with my friends and only ended up eating a few bites because I was so anxious. I know that's a good thing, and I should be thanking her for that, but I don't want that anxiety to stay even when I lose weight. This isn't her fault though, obviously. She is not responsible for my anxiety. She tries to control everything I eat. I am on a diet and have lost 7 pounds in the last 2 weeks. Not much, I know, but I'm going to start a water fast at the start of the new year. She didn't force me to do that, but I hate myself to the point where I would rather be dead than live in this body any longer, so I want to lose weight as quickly as I possibly can. I know it's not her fault at all. I ruined the relationship when I gained weight, not her. Her reaction is understandable. She doesn't want a fat boyfriend. It must have been frustrating to watch me gain all that weight. I feel terrible for what I've done to her. She always says how much happier I will be if I lose weight, and I know she's right. It's just that I can't help but feel hurt and almost afraid of her sometimes. Not like actually afraid, just like afraid that I am physically repulsing her. I unconsciously suck in my stomach whenever I'm around her now. Sometimes she treats me like I'm the most disgusting thing she's ever seen. I agree that I am physically repulsive, but I can't help but be hurt sometimes. Should I just accept it? That's what I've been doing so far. However, since I've started losing weight, is it okay to ask her to stop making comments? Scaling Stories Corner. Yo, 5'11 and 260 pounds? Slide into my DMs. Yo, who said that? Who said that? Must have been the wind. Okay, for real talk though, for real, OP's girlfriend is just a massive piece of crap and a bully, like plain and simple. I don't care if her intentions was to help out to lose weight, because that's a fine intention if both OP wants it and she wants it. But there's a right way to go about it, and that's to be supportive and a cheerleader towards OP's efforts. Not this like passive aggressive, kind of full on aggressive. Actually, no, it's literally just full on I hate you, you're subhuman aggressive thing she's got going on to OP. I mean, just look at the way OP talks about himself. It's downright depressing that he has no self-worth in himself because his girlfriend just always keeps bullying him. And, I think OP can do himself a favor because he does have a lot of dead weight to lose, and he can lose a ton of weight right now by dumping his girlfriend because she's weighing him down in body and soul, and my man deserves to be free. I mean, if my partner ever called me a disgusting fat pig, regardless of how much I weighed, that's not my partner. That's instantly my ex. I would not have given OP's girlfriend a second chance at that point. And then she was like, yeah, like any day, I'm just waiting until you drop dead from obesity. And I'm just like, what? But yeah, obviously OP's self-esteem was like slowly whittled down over time. And like, it's not his fault he didn't break up with his girlfriend at that point. But like, he needs to do it now, Now, here are some of the top/relevant comments from the original post. Commenter 1 says, this dynamic is totally, absolutely, totally, utterly, wholly not okay. I hope this is fake, but if not, here's my advice. As someone who previously suffered from an eating disorder, your girlfriend sounds exactly like what I would say/do to myself. My eating disorder almost killed me. This person sounds like they have their own deep-seated issues. This goes far beyond having preferences. This is full-blown abuse, and the fact that you have not left her tells me you might be entirely dependent on her. You need to get out of this relationship, this dynamic, immediately. I cannot stress enough the danger that is present. Please, tell your friends, tell your family, call a hotline, do whatever you need to do to leave. If you can't leave her for whatever reason, please see a therapist and read them this post. You are not the bad guy. You are not demonizing her. There are no qualities of this person that could redeem her from this. And you are not making her look bad. She is doing this all by herself. Hating yourself is not an option. Any changes you make to yourself should come from a rational, objective mindset that considers your feelings and your health above the rest. This is not it. You deserve better. You are being abused. This is abuse. Please, please, please. I am begging you to get help. OP says, thank you for your answer. I honestly never thought she was abusive. Well, maybe I did in some ways, but I deserve it. It's hard to know what to think. Like, half of the people in this thread think her treatment of me is okay, and then half don't. Would a therapist think this is abuse, or would I just be wasting their time? She doesn't have an eating disorder, as far as I know, but she is healthy and fit. It must be hard for her to be with someone overweight. I don't think she means to be abusive, if that's what she is. I'm not dependent on her. She is actually dependent on me for money. Maybe I am dependent on her in other ways though. I'm just curious, what is the danger of staying with her? Commenter 1 says, I'll address this in order of your comments. When dynamics are flipped, it can be hard to say, this is abuse. I struggled to call my abuser abusive, and there wasn't even a dynamic change. It's pretty much how abuse works. It's your fault, or you deserve it. You convince yourself. Any therapist worth their salt would recognize this as abuse. She is exerting control by way of insulting you, withholding affection. What would normally be just preferences is changed into an abusive dynamic because she is trying to force you to do something, and humiliation. She may not have an eating disorder, but when I had an eating disorder, my internal dialogue, how I talked to myself, was pretty much exactly the same. She is essentially the voice of an eating disorder, personified. Even if she is struggling to be with an overweight person, it does not warrant abuse. These are problems that should be talked about, person to person, to evaluate what each person wants and to see if they are compatible. Saying, OP, now that you have gained this much weight, I feel X. From this relationship, I want Y, is completely different from humiliating you into doing what she wants. When I said dependent, I meant emotionally. I can't diagnose you with anything. I'm not anywhere near qualified. You already are exhibiting some of the risks of staying. You say you hate yourself. that you would rather die than live in this body. And, even in your title, you're questioning whether or not you have the autonomy to tell someone to stop insulting and harassing you. None of this is okay. Her ignorance is not an excuse. We learn as children that our words can be just as hurtful as our fists. You deserve happiness. If that includes weight loss, great. You should lose weight because you will be healthier, and it sounds like you will be happier. But at any weight, at any time of day, or in any mental state, you should not tolerate abuse. I know I'm just an internet stranger, but please, I am begging you, get your head on straight. This will not improve unless something drastic, an upheaval of everything this relationship currently is, happens. The relationship might not survive, but it's a hell of a lot better than you not surviving. Update 5 days later. Sorry this is kind of long, but it did get quite eventful. Thank you so much to everyone who commented. It helped me see my relationship in a different light, so thank you all, even the ones who said I deserved it. The general consensus was that she was abusive, which honestly shocked me at first. I really expected every comment to support how she treated me and say she was just trying to help, etc. I thought I deserved to be abused for gaining weight. I still kind of believe that, but I think most people treat their partners with kindness. I never want anyone to feel the way I did due to their partner. Also, the high stress/anxiety levels I felt constantly are pretty terrible for losing weight. I had convinced myself that I was disgusting and undeserving of love, and she was just trying to help, but I now realize she probably wasn't even trying to help me at all. It's hard to think that of her because I love her a lot still, despite her faults. I realized there were a lot of things in our relationship that I was uncomfortable with that I felt like I could never bring up because she would get upset and start crying. So I would end up comforting her, or she would just turn it on me and get angry and blame me. Things always had to go her way, or she would start crying. My girlfriend was entirely dependent on me for money, and I paid for literally 95% of things. She never wanted to get a job because I paid for her. I was okay with this because I loved her and felt like I had to prove myself to be worthy of her. I paid all the rent and bills. 2 days ago, New Year's Eve, I was in our bedroom on my phone when I got a text. It was from an unknown number, calling me a fat F and saying something about how I didn't deserve my girlfriend. This wasn't too unusual. I've been receiving abusive texts from several different random numbers for months, mostly about my weight, but also about all sorts of things. I had several ideas of who it could be, and it was honestly eating me up inside. It was giving me extreme anxiety because they seemed to know so much about me. A few hours later, on a whim, I decided to call the number. I have done this before, but it never got answered. I even spoofed my phone number, and still nothing. You can probably see where this is going. A vibration came from my girlfriend's bag in the cupboard. I guess she forgot to put it on silent. It was like the biggest sinking feeling I have ever felt. She had purchased a burner phone specifically for texting me abuse. She took time out of her day just to put me down anonymously and wear me down further. She wanted me to be hurt and not trust anyone around me. I truly never thought she was responsible for them. The thought had come into my head a couple of times, but I immediately pushed it out. I didn't believe she was capable of something like that. She was always sympathetic when I got the text and was trying to help me find out who sent them. It hurt so badly. I could almost forgive everything else, but everyone has a breaking point. I just feel completely worthless. How disgusting must I be if my own girlfriend wants to say these things to me? Why would she do this? I don't understand. I guess she wanted me to be under her control and even more dependent on her emotionally. I'm trying to get out of the mindset that I deserve this. I knew I had to end it, and I had to do it before she would make me change my mind. I gathered all her stuff up and put it into bags. I was getting extremely upset while doing it and almost stopped, but I was also angry. I don't really get angry, and I previously just accepted her treatment, but something in me just snapped. I was actually mad at her for once. She was at her friend's house, preparing to go out for New Year's Eve. I did feel guilty for ruining her night, but she had already ruined mine. I wanted to try and leave her in 2019 and start the new year without her. I had to do it right then, before I thought about it too much and forgave her like I did for everything else she has done. I called a locksmith to come and change the locks. I knew she would have an extreme reaction to being broken up with by her obese boyfriend who doesn't deserve her, no matter the circumstances. Anyway, so I just had to do it. I texted her, "I found your other phone. I love you," her name, "but I can't put up with this crap anymore. All your stuff is in bags in the hall. Please come by and collect it tomorrow. I changed the locks, so you will have to let me know when you're coming beforehand. Happy New Year." Yes, saying Happy New Year was a bit petty. To say she didn't respond well to this would be an understatement. She called me crying, telling me she was sorry and would stop. She told me she was just trying to help me and that she was doing it out of love. She told me she loved me more than anything and she was so sorry. I almost believed her, but I didn't give in. I apologized to her and hung up. She called me back 2 minutes later, angry and screaming. How could I dare do this to her? She called me a fat, disgusting piece of crap and said she never loved me. She screamed that she never wanted me and that no one ever will. She screamed that even my own family didn't care about me. This hurt because my mom was an abusive drug addict and my dad left when I was 10 and I haven't seen him since. She said that whenever we had sex, she was thinking about her ex and praying for it to be over. I guess she was trying to say anything that would hurt me. I blocked her number. She called me back again on her friend's phone, screaming, "How dare I block her?" and "How dare I leave her with no place to stay on New Year's Eve?" I didn't do that. I would never leave her without a place to sleep. She could go to her parents, and she has plenty of money that I gave her, so she could get a taxi and stay in a hotel if she preferred. She also said beforehand that she was staying at her friend's that night anyway. She posted on her Instagram story that she was heartbroken that her boyfriend had left her homeless on New Year's Eve due to a little misunderstanding. After everything he put me through, he still does this. I loved him and thought he loved me, but I guess I was wrong. I then received messages from her friends telling me I'm a horrible person and she deserves so much better than me. Her mother, unpleasant person, called me, saying she was calling the police on me, and that I was abusive. She also brought up my weight and said it was laughable that I would break up with her, looking the way I do, and that I would never get anyone better. All of this was stressing me out to the extreme. I hate confrontation in any form, and I think I was just constantly shaking the whole evening. My girlfriend's friend ended up calling me on a different number and said that she and her boyfriend weren't comfortable letting my girlfriend stay over at their house anymore. They were freaked out due to my girlfriend screaming abuse at me on the phone, and she was apparently screaming at them as well and saying she was going to kill me. All her other friends at the house were freaked out too, and she was effectively uninvited from their New Year's Eve night, and they were trying to find a way to get her to leave. She was straight telling them that she had no money and no way of getting to her parents. This was a straight up lie. I had given her £500 several days ago. I sent her an extra £100 out of guilt anyway. I don't know where she went for a few hours, but she came back to my house around 2 a.m. and started trying to kick the door in, and she picked up a rock and tried to smash the window. It broke the window but didn't smash all the way through. She was screaming and crying through the letterbox. I ended up caving and letting her in once she calmed down somewhat, as my brother was there with me to back me up. She was drunk and tried to attack me, but I held her back. Eventually, she just started crying. I felt really bad for her at this point and was almost ready to let her stay just for the night. But thankfully, my brother ended up getting a taxi with her to take her to a hotel for the night. I felt really terrible the next day. I loved her, and we spent 2 years together. I keep wondering if she's right that I'll never find anyone again. I can't see why anyone would want me. I also feel really guilty for what I did, and I was probably too harsh on her to just kick her out like that. Her mother came to collect her stuff yesterday and started screaming at me, saying that I ruined her daughter's life, etc., etc. I feel really bad. I hope she's okay, and I want her to get help and realize why she treats people the way she does. I know I wasn't the first. I brushed off so many stories about her and just ignored all the signs. With the weight loss, I'm currently continuing my diet instead of water fasting like I planned. I want to try and do a sustainable diet instead of just starving myself for a month and probably gaining it back. I want to try a 7-day water fast to detox, though. I also need to stop relying on alcohol to relax in the evening. It was a big reason I gained the weight. I realized I have been consuming at least 600 calories a day in alcohol alone, 3 pints of beer. I definitely use it to cope with stress, and I need to develop better coping mechanisms. I'm going to lose all the weight in 2020, and I'm also going to get into therapy so I can sort my head out. There are so many unhealthy thoughts I have, and I don't think hating yourself as much as I do is normal. I feel sad but strangely relieved, and I feel like I can actually make changes in my life without her. Scaling Stories Corner. I don't think there's much to say except that I'm really glad OP lost the weight that was holding him back, and now he can truly work on himself. His girlfriend was a real piece of work to even be having burner phones to verbally attack OP. I mean, her actions were just straight up disgusting, and I don't even know what her end goal was. Like, why would you be that horrible to another person? I can't understand it. Thank God OP got away from her before she pushed him over the edge of doing something irreversible. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the update post. Commenter 1 says, Dude, I'm going to assume this is real because of the weirdly specific details, but keep in mind it's difficult to comprehend this is real because how could someone be so awful? She is certifiably effed up and dangerous, and even her friends turned on her. Get a restraining order and never speak to her again. Don't give her money, respond, or go near her. If she comes to your property, call the police and warn your neighbors about her too. She never, ever had good intentions for you. She was abusive. She is abusive. Please be careful and stay strong. Commenter 2 says, well, she sure sounds like a... She sure sounds like an effing sociopath. I'm very, very glad you ejected her from your life. Dude, those sentences where it's like, she sure sounds, it's like SSS or like N and N. It's like, ah! Anyway, good goddamn riddance. I think therapy is a great idea. Not only do you have pre-existing anxiety issues and such, but no doubt this entire relationship wreaked some kind of havoc on your brain. This is some traumatic stuff. I hope you find a doctor you like, and don't give up if it takes a few tries. I'm really proud of you, OP. You took your own life into your own hands and took out the trash. Second update, 1 year, 1 month later. Hey guys, I hadn't checked this account in like a year, but suddenly got a load of notifications to my email and saw that my story got posted on YouTube. If anyone cares, I'm doing a lot better now, and it makes me physically cringe reading that old post. I was such a doormat and let her walk all over me. I'll never let anyone treat me like that again. I managed to lose all the weight I gained, plus some, in lockdown. Unfortunately, I gained 10 pounds back in the most recent lockdown due to exercising less, but I'm working on losing that again. I'm still much happier and healthier than I was, drinking less too. My ex tried periodically to contact me, but seems to have now got a new boyfriend. Hopefully, she doesn't put him through the same crap. I've been on a few dates, but no new girlfriend yet. Soon though, I think I'm in a much healthier place to have a relationship now. Thanks for all the support, smiley face. Okay friends, so that concludes our first story of the day. Next up, we have a story from the polyamory subreddit. It was posted by thisfoundation9761 on September 18th, 2025, and was titled, Partner Had Sex with Meta in My Bed. Am I overreacting? Editor's note, a metamor, is your partner's other partner in polyamory. Throwaway account, I'm sort of new to polyamory, as in, this is my first poly relationship, but she has had other partners before. Sorry in advance for the rant. I, 35 male, live with my partner, 28 female, and I have done so for about 9 months now. We've been together for 2 years. I have no other partners and have been focusing on myself. She has another partner, 29 male, she has recently been seeing. At my partner's insistence, we have had separate beds, the idea being that we each have our own spaces we can both invite the other into and can have to ourselves when needed or have other partners in. I actually like this. We have different schedules and days off, so it means I am able not to be interrupted by her getting up for work on my days off and vice versa. Yesterday, I came home early, as we got rained out at work. We were talking about an hour here. There had been no mention of a date or anything like that, but she doesn't need my permission to see my meta, and I was at work. When I opened the front door, I was greeted by the sounds of her loudly having sex. Our rooms are at opposite ends of the house, and it was definitely coming from my room. In the moment, I froze, closed the door, and left. I felt angry and betrayed. I have a friend who lives close by, so I went to their house. I returned about 3 to 4 hours later after my partner texted me, asking where I was. I was pretty angry and said I knew she was having sex in my bed, which I was pretty upset about. She said she didn't think it was that big of a deal and she got caught up in the moment. I view this as a pretty serious betrayal. She has a space for partners, and this isn't it. Am I overreacting? Is this not that big of a deal? Scaling Stories Corner. Dude, meta in the title of the post threw me off so hard because I was like, meta? Like meta glasses? Meta? How do you have sex with a meta? But yeah, anyway, this is not that messy. I mean, it's a poly relationship, and I don't think there's anything wrong with a poly relationship when both people in the relationship know what it is beforehand and agree on it and establish clear rules and boundaries, which it does seem like OP and his partner did. But for some reason, his partner decided like, nah, F the rules. I'm just gonna go bang this dude in OP's bed. Like, holy moly, what? That is just like 50 shades of effed up because it's like a crazy invasion of privacy. And like you have separate bedrooms for literally this exact reason, that if you have another partner, then you can go to your own separate rooms to do whatever. So I don't see any reason why these people would have gone into OP's bedroom to have sex on his bed, besides like it was some sort of like effed up power play or something. And would this be grounds for a breakup? I mean, I'm just imagining like how stupid or like how malicious do you have to be to do this? Like you bring your partner over and then what? Like what thoughts and actions would lead you into going into OP's bedroom? And I just can't like imagine a possible scenario that's like innocent. Every scenario I think about is meant to hurt OP. Because it's like literally what could be like happening? Like what, you got dirty sheets or something so you can't have sex on it? So you're just gonna have sex on OP's bed instead and make his sheets dirty? And then you're just gonna have to wash it anyway, right? Or maybe you don't wash it? Yeah. I think I would break up over this. It's just way too disrespectful. Now here are some of the top/relevant comments from the original post. Commenter 1 says, why were they even in your room in the first place? OP says, apparently, Meta thought it would be hot. Partner went with it and didn't think to protect my space, and it makes me feel pretty damn unimportant to her right now. Commenter 2 says, this is gross. This is bordering actually on disgusting. Power play dynamics are fine, but they have to be discussed. This is such a wild violation of your space, your respect, and, honestly, your physical health. Were they planning to clean the sheets or just simply say nothing and giggle together while you potentially slept in fluids you had no idea were there? Edit to add. There's also an infinitesimal chance that you have happened to catch them the one and only time they've done it. It's much more likely they've done this before to you. That's not a stutter. That was just a what a word is that? This would be so far beyond a deal breaker for me that it's unreal. Update 12 hours later. Hey everyone, small update. Thank you to everyone who responded. All my good friends are mono, so it's heartening to be able to have people who can give good advice in this space. After looking at what happened in the cold light of day, southern hemisphere, and taking some time to think, I realize I, at minimum, need to move out and take some time away from the relationship. That doesn't mean that I will/won't stay with her, I just haven't fully processed this yet. I've been cheated on in monogamous relationships, and this feels similar. I've had no further contact with my partner except to tell her not to contact me for now. A clarification for some. When we made the decision to have our own beds and bedrooms, my partner quite clearly stated that each other's space was ours only, and we could only enter each other's space if invited. I made the reasonable assumption from that information that she wouldn't have sex with someone else in my bed, in much the same way that if I had another partner, I wouldn't have sex with them in hers. Yes, polyamory is about communication, but as there was a boundary at a much lower level than this, I didn't see the necessity to explicitly point out that having sex with others in my bed was a hard no. I'm not entirely sure there was a humiliation kink involved, as I was home a bit early, and the text message asking where I was came when I was about 2.5 to 3 hours later than when I would normally be home, with no communication. I am, however, starting to think that this wasn't the first time, as some of you have pointed out. Those of you who suggested locking the bedroom door, thanks for your practical advice. However, there are no locks on the bedroom doors, and I frankly don't want to live with a partner who I need to lock out of my space after they know it's off limits. I do not know how our relationship could possibly recover from this, but honestly, I don't need to decide that right now. Second update, 10 days later. Final update. I've moved out and have decided to end things. It has been a tough and emotional time, so bear with me if I haven't added any information. It came out that this wasn't the first time that this had happened. I assumed it was some power fantasy, either from the meta or my partner, but my partner, at minimum, allowed it more than once. They were also having unprotected sex, and that was not mentioned to me at any stage so that I could make decisions in line with my risk profile. There was a red flag in that she didn't respect my boundaries in a smaller way in the past, and, when called out, she hand-waved it away. In hindsight, this type of behavior should not be a surprise, and that's on me. I should have pushed back harder earlier. That's enough for me, thanks. I now have no trust in that house or that partnership. Poly is something I have been keen to try. The ideas of partners not having to be absolutely everything for each other and having their own independence and autonomy has been a really attractive idea and reality for me, but having my boundaries trampled like this really puts a sour taste in my mouth, and I'm not sure where to go from here. Scaling Stories Corner. I know open relationships and poly can get a bad rep, especially when we're reading the stories on Reddit, but I don't think this was an open relationship or poly issue. I think OP's partner was just a bad person who didn't respect the rules of the relationship. I think she could have easily broken other rules and boundaries in a different setting if this was a monogamous relationship. Okay friends, so that concludes today's video. Leave a like and comment down below to let me know what you thought of it, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.